Well, ladies and gentlemen, our friends in the Democrat Party that really has our back has done it again, this time out of New York. So in New York, they say they gave the largest investment in the New York Asian community. Now, why would they do that? So they say New York State is giving $10 million to organizations that serve Asian American communities. They say since the start of the pandemic, they say Asian Americans across the country had to cope with discrimination and violence against their communities. That's been the story of Black America ever since we got here, or in the inception of this nation. Okay. They say the funding comes at a crucial time for organizations like the Asian American Federation, which has served as a safety net for the many throughout the pandemic. They said people are not leaving their homes. There's tremendous anxiety. We just on edge all the time. Now, that was a Joanne Yu. She's the executive director of the Asian American Federation. They say the AAF is one of several organizations that will receive and distribute the funding. Now, according to Governor Kathy Hochul's office, this is the largest investment in the Asian American community in the state's history. So you got the new governor come in and she's already transferring the bag to the Asian community. Now we know federally they got the hate crime bill. Jim Crow Joe gave them $50 million by executive order. New York State now is giving them $10 million. They sure is passing the bag to the Asian community, even though the Asian community statistically does better than any other group when it comes to dollars made per hour and also what they're making yearly. They even make more money than white people on average yearly, but yet they're transferring the bag to them. Continuing. They said this news is a really big deal, because nobody's ever invested money like this in our community. You said, this is the governor saying to our community, I heard you, I want to help you. It said, I want to help you to build infrastructure because your community needs it. But the Black community don't need it? I guess so. Now, they say the money given to AAF will be distributed to local groups that have seen a major increase in demand for programs concerning financial assistance, case management, mental health support, youth programming, and more. I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but Black people need financial assistance. That's for sure. They definitely need some mental health support. Our youth definitely need programs to keep our youth out of trouble, so they won't get into things that they shouldn't be doing. I mean, like I'm saying, so black people in New York, they could be listening to this podcast. I just want to know, what is your opinion on this? With your tax dollars going to one group of people and they wouldn't give you anything. And if you see on the picture, you have your governor, Eric Adams. They out there smiling all big, and that's okay and fine. But where is the money that's coming to your community? Now, they said, continuing, the pandemic has devastated effect on many vulnerable and marginalized communities across New York State, Hochul said in Sunday's announcement. She said the Asian American community was especially hit hard, not by the virus, but by the increase in hate and violent crimes. Now, when we looked at and we covered the hate crimes report, more Black Americans suffered hate crimes than Asian Americans. And yet they get a bag when it happens to them out of 1 year. Now, they say hate crimes, they said, against Asians in New York City has risen about 361% since last year, from 28 hate crimes to 129. Y'all, that's 101 more hate crimes, and they get a bag. But Black people don't get nothing. The Democrats are blatantly doing this to Black Americans, y'all. They're blatantly doing this. It's what they're doing is so blatant. It's just kind of funny. It's funny because I really want to hear the hardcore blue bleeding Democrat first black folk. I want to hear your explanation to this. How come this one group keeps getting all these set asides and keep getting a bag and getting protection, but black Americans can't get it? Oh, is your response going to be, well, what the Republicans are going to do? That's not an answer. And if you leave that answer on any of my pages or social media, that's going to get you blocked. I'm warning you ahead of time. If you ask a question about what the Republicans are going to do, I'm going to block you. That's not an answer. The answer is, the question, is, how do you feel about the Democrats giving all these set asides to this one group when you overwhelmingly voted for them? Black people overwhelmingly voted and they haven't gotten anything. You got a coin. You got a holiday. That's what you got. I think they're talking about Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. That's what you get. But everybody else, they actually get money. They get protection. Now, they say groups, they say like the AAF, the Coalition of Asian American Children and Families, and the Chinese American Planning Council have played an integral role in unifying the community during this collective time of grief, is what they say. They say the siege against Asian Americans continues unabated, as does our need for additional resources. This is what they say. They see they need more money. As according to New York State Senator John Liu, it say in the announcement, we must address the range of needs as a community safety. They said services for youth and senior citizens, mental health support for Asian New Yorkers, and implementing of AAPI curriculum in public schools. So on top of that, they want AAPI curriculum and everything. So, this is what pushing you to the permanent underclass looks like, black people. This is what that looks like. And who is being done by? Democrats. As I stated before, in the last presidency of Barack Obama, he solidified and cemented the white LGBT. Now the plan is cement the buffer classes. It seems like they're starting off with the Asian community first. Or maybe they just stay on the Asian community and get them cemented in. But what they're doing, they're making sure that everything is above you. Everything is above you. They don't care about you. They don't do anything to help you. But they're always telling you to go vote. Oh, black people got to come out and vote. You got to come out and vote. So what? The Asian community get more money? That's what you coming out to vote for? Did you vote for them to get a hate crime bill and you didn't get nothing? That's what we voting for? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what are we voting for when it comes to the Democrats? Voting for Democrats at this point is you're being a sellout to the black community. You're being a complete freaking sellout. Both parties don't have our best interests, but the Democrats are being so blatant at hurting black America. It's sad. It's sad to watch black folks still defend that party. It is so sad. As I said on my last live stream, some of y'all would justify going on a plantation. The Democrats told y'all it would be a good thing for you. That's how sad black America is at this point with this Democrat party. Some of you are so brainwashed. You can't give a logical answer why you support these people. You're literally watching everybody else get a bag. What about our black children? They need youth programs. What about our black people? We need financial management and the counseling. We need all kinds of things for our black children. So our black children get nothing, but this one community who has an actual community, right? They got Chinatown and Koreatown. They have all these different things for themselves. They got businesses. They got grocery stores. They got, all the things that they need. But black people don't have that because, they've done everything they could to destroy black people. And we keep voting the same party back in that constantly do us wrong. And black people, that's your tax dollars that they're getting. It's yours. It's yours. And this woman wants y'all to come out and vote for her. Because I heard y'all got a governor's race coming up. She wants y'all to come out and vote for her. If you was a smart black person, you wouldn't dare vote for that woman for that one act that she did. That one. I want y'all in New York to go and start asking questions. Say, hey, where's our $10 million? And we don't want our $10 million going to no Al Sharpton either. We don't want our $10 million going to no Urban League, NAACP, or whatever. Because no, they can't have the money. Black folks should be able to get that money to help the community. Some nonprofit, definitely some nonprofits should be able to get that money. The ones that's in the community that's solidified and that's really working to do the right thing, they need that money. But I just want y'all to see what your Democrat Party is doing to you. It's nothing anybody can say to me at this point to say, oh, you know what, man, I had the Democrat Party wrong. I really had them wrong. I thought they wasn't doing this bad like this, but man, like how much more worse they can do us. And I'm going to continue to cover them. I'm going to continue to point this out, and because I'm going to beat it in your head all the way up into the midterms. Every chance I get. Because some of you are so brainwashed and stuck on autopilot with this Democrat Party that you go vote for them again. I'm not telling you got to go vote for Republicans either, because both parties are racist. But if you don't want to do a protest vote just to teach the Democrats something, then shoot, sit it out. Just go ahead on, just chill your nerves and sit it out. That's the least we can do, is teach them. Okay, we ain't getting no money. We're not protected. Okay, cool, no problem. Well, then you're not gonna be in office. See, y'all gotta have the attitude is, if I'm not comfortable, nobody being comfortable. Black folks gotta be selfish for a change. Don't let nobody try to guilt trip you about being selfish. We as black people need to be freaking selfish. We have done enough. We've helped everybody. And when everybody get on their feet, what do? Did the Asian community turn around and say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. You need to put our black brothers and sisters on this hate crime bill because they're suffering hate crimes too. Hey, Biden, you giving us $50 million? Hey, give $50 million to the black community. Because, man, they really supported our community with shopping with us, eating with us, et cetera, right? Their civil rights leaders was standing up for us, and we were small in number. Hey, New York governor, hey, go ahead on and make sure you give a $10 million to black people. That way because they suffer just as much as we have suffered, probably more. No, when these other groups get in the bag, they're like, ain't worried about you Negroes. I want y'all to pay attention to that. I want y'all to pay attention. Y'all in our community have to be selfish. We can't worry about other groups. They don't worry about us. We have to say, if we don't get it, nobody getting it. And as I said earlier in my live stream I did, tonight as I'm making this podcast, black people in New York need to sue in court about that money, because black people suffered more hate crimes than the Asian community, more, and they don't get nothing. Well, if they getting 10 million, black people should get 20 million then. How about that? Black people and all over the country, you need to start filing lawsuits anytime you see them giving money to any specific group, because they told us they can't just give money to black people. They got to give it to everybody. Okay, cool. Well, you're not going to be giving it to nobody else. You'll give it to everybody. We have to be that way. We have to be extremely petty, and we have to be extremely selfish, because that's how these other groups are. They're not thinking about us. You got to think about our children, our elderly, our men, our women. This is what we need to be thinking about. And do the exact same thing these other groups have been doing. The Asian community have been filing lawsuits constantly against affirmative action. Constantly been doing that. They trying, every chance they get, they trying to hurt and harm our people. The things that we fought for. The reason why we had to fight for the affirmative action, because we couldn't even freaking get a job to feed our families. And then they want to come over here and try to destroy the things that our family, our ancestors end up fighting for. Now, of course, the Democrats have diluted affirmative action, that's for sure. But these people have constantly done that to us, doing little slick things. And like, once again, is what I said earlier in my live stream. Why do we let these other groups do things to us? If these were white people, we'd be calling it out. We'd be going in, saying they racist, etc. But these other groups, you're quiet. I don't understand black people with that. And I want to answer, why are you so quiet when these other groups do things to you? But when there's somebody white, you're ready to scream, yell, and talking about Black Lives Matter and everything else. I don't think it's fair to be coming at the white supremacists and you're not coming to these other groups that's white supremacists too. Why are they getting a pass? Have you ever thought about that? Why are they getting a pass? I don't think it's fair to white folks that you see call them out and protest and everything else you're doing against them, but these other groups do something. No, But black folks in New York, y'all should file a lawsuit. Y'all should file a lawsuit, a discrimination lawsuit about this money. And the reason why it's discrimination is because the black people in New York have suffered too. They suffered discrimination. They suffered hate crimes. They suffered economic loss. And you need the money too. So that's discriminatory to give it to one group and you're not giving it to everybody. That's extremely discriminatory. And black folks, if you have any kind of self-respect for yourself in New York, you will be filing a lawsuit ASAP before this money even get passed down. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast today. We greatly appreciate you coming in. If it's your first time coming here, make sure you subscribe. That way you'll know exactly when we're going to post a new podcast. Make sure you click the like button. Definitely, let people know, about the podcast. Tell 5 of your friends, share it on your social media where your friends and families at. That way they'll look at it and say, okay, this may be interesting, and they can come and subscribe. If also you enjoy the show, send us a love offering. We call donations love offerings. That definitely helps us keep the show going. So thank you for listening and see you next time.